So the topic for today is the endocrine system. Endocrine system is like a system that is made up of glands and hormones. These glands and hormones play a major role in the control of the body systems, or you can say to maintain homeostasis. So when we say that, we first of all we need to know what is a gland, okay, and what is a hormone. So you have to understand a gland is an organ which produces or releases substances to perform the specific functions in the body. And what is that substance? This is a chemical message called hormone. Okay, so that's what you have to understand. Gland is any organ, and hormone is the secretion of that organ. We have two type of the glands. One is called as the endocrine gland, and the second one is called as the exocrine gland. So when we say that the endo and exo, we have to understand that the endo are the one without duct, or we call them as, you remember we studied that we call them as ductless glands. So they are called as the ductless glands. And the exo are with the duct. Why exo are with duct? Because they release their substances outside the blood and need a duct to transport it into the blood. This is like how we study. Now, the endocrine, they release their secretions directly into the blood. Okay. Okay, good. So this is how you understand between what is gland and hormone, and then what is the difference between the two types of the glands. Okay, now we will see what is the difference between the two types of the hormones, because we also have two different kinds of the hormones called as steroid hormones and non-steroid hormones. So first of all, we have to look what are the steroid hormones. Any hormone which can directly enter into the cell and their receptor is inside the cell. Okay, this is called as a steroid hormone. A non-steroid hormone, which you look over here, it must need a receptor in the cell membrane. If there is no receptor in the cell membrane, this is the target cell membrane. So if there is no receptor in the cell membrane, the hormone cannot cross through the cell. This is the main difference that you must have to know. And other than that, you can say that the steroid hormones are made up of lipid, cholesterol, while the non-steroid hormones are made up of amino acids, peptides, or protein. So they are called as the non-steroid hormones. Examples are like estrogen and testosterone for the steroid hormones, and insulin and growth hormones for the non-steroid hormones. Other than that, what you have to know, the similarities and differences between them, we discussed it actually. Both need the receptor, both go to the target cell, they are involved in the cell membrane and carry messengers with them, and they produce some response. While the difference is that they are made up of lipid, the non-steroid, and the non-steroid are made up of protein or amino acids. Who need receptor in the cell membrane? In fact, both need receptor. Definitely, both need receptor. But one of them need receptor on the cell surface membrane. Which one is that? Who need receptor on the cell surface membrane?
Non-steroid hormones.
Very good. On the cell surface membrane is non-steroid hormone. Excellent. Okay, now we will move forward and we will see some major glands in the human body. We have to identify them over the body, and then we have to say that what are their hormones which are secreted in the body. So we have to look into it. This is the diagram. If this diagram comes in your exam and they label them as A, B, C, D, something, so you should be able to understand and label them. So most important hormones are listed over here. We will go down to see more details of these. First of all, we look into from those hormones which are present in the skull. You can see over here, these three are present in the skull. So hypothalamus, just below the hypothalamus there is pituitary, and the next one is called as the pineal gland. We will talk more into detail of these functions. Then in the neck region over here, you have two thyroid, and just below the thyroid is the parathyroid. Normally they label it as the thyroid. They don't go into details of the parathyroid. In the chest region, you have a very important gland that is called as the thymus gland. Now near the kidney, there is a leaf-like structure, and this one only this one, this thing. This thing is called as the pancreas. But on the top of the kidneys, on the top of the both kidneys, you have to notice there is another gland that is known as the adrenal gland. And in females there are ovaries, and in males there are testes. Now let's go into more detail of each hormone and each gland and its hormones and their functions. So we will see that. So first of all, pituitary gland. The spellings are just like scrambled. I will write them again here. It's okay. Pituitary, pituitary gland, so that they come as in one row. Okay. And the second one is hypothalamus. It should come also in one statement. Hypothalamus. Okay, so what we have to see is the pituitary gland is the master gland of your body. Remember, so it is called as the major master gland because this gland regulates most of the other hormones in the body, or you can say that almost all other glands in the body. So that's why this is called as the master gland. Okay, we will move further, and we see that there is the very important secretion of it. This is human growth hormone. So human growth hormone is secreted by pituitary, and this is important to stimulate the cell division in muscles and bone tissues. Like, it increases the muscles to divide, it increases the bones to divide. That's why our height increases. Okay. Then we will go further. Hypothalamus releases oxytocin, which is very important hormone. Mainly it is responsible in the female during lactation. Hypothalamus also controls ADH, and ADH is antidiuretic hormone. We will see it in more details down. This is called as the antidiuretic hormone. We will see it in more details. And this hormone is the one which regulates the water balance in your body. And this water balance, it's not necessary to know that, but it's written. Okay, so this water balance is known as osmoregulation. The mechanism is known as osmoregulation. Thyroid gland is one of the gland that releases thyroxine and calcitonin, and thyroxine is very important to regulate your body metabolism, while the calcitonin, its name also shows you that something related to calcium. Okay, so whenever the calcium level is high in the blood, it makes it down. Okay, it lowers the blood calcium level and let it be absorbed in the bone. Okay, and on the other hand, if there is too much calcium, it will cause the kidneys to release this calcium out. Parathyroid works opposite. Parathyroid works opposite, so it means that it's just like this. I will write it here. You have to understand the hormones which work in pair. So thyroid, thyroid and parathyroid work opposite. Okay, work opposite. Okay, so whatever role is done by the thyroid is like done opposite from the parathyroid. Now here again, this one we will see insulin and glucagon work opposite. Insulin and glucagon work opposite. How they work opposite? Both are released by the pancreas. Insulin decrease the blood glucose level and convert it into glycogen, which is stored in your muscles. And later on, when you are fasting or your blood glucose is low, so glycogen is released and then it breaks down the glucose into the blood. So this is how they work together. Adrenaline is released by the adrenal gland. This is also known as the epinephrine. So I will write it here also that the epinephrine and norepinephrine work opposite. So we will write it here. Epinephrine and norepinephrine work opposite. Okay, and these are released by the adrenal gland. I told you, where was the adrenal gland? What was the location if you have to identify? Yes, boys.
Yeah. Mr. And the kidneys on top.
Yes, very good. On the top of the kidneys, they are called as the adrenal gland, and they are very important to prepare you for the emergency conditions. And these emergency conditions are also called as the fight or flight conditions. Adrenal gland also releases one other cortisol, which increases your blood glucose level and reduces the inflammation. Pineal gland, this one is actually wrong. This is not by the pineal gland. Wait, this should be, leave it, just cross it out. No need for this because this is not the it's mistakenly here. Okay, thymus gland is very important gland which is in your chest. It releases thymosin, and this thymosin is like improves your immunity. It stimulates your T cells and improves your immune system. Just like you take vaccine to increase your immune system, you take the vaccine so that your body can
Oh,
fight.
I know I get it. Getting vaccine to hold your immune system.
Yes, yes, to improve your immune system, to boost your immune system. Yes. Okay. Now we will move further, and we have here now um, define homeostasis actually, or describe the homeostasis. You have to put some examples, and then you tell how these examples are controlled by some hormones, and also sequence the steps of the negative feedback mechanism. Like you have to sequence the steps of negative feedback mechanism. So first of all, we should know what is homeostasis. So homeostasis is maintaining or keeping your internal body conditions at constant level, almost constant, stable internal conditions. They are called as the homeostatic conditions. Like for example, nowadays outside is cold, so you cannot change your body temperature a lot. How you control your body temperature? How your body helps you to control your body temperature? Different processes are working in your body to control the body conditions. For example, the role of the adrenal hormone to produce epinephrine and norepinephrine, the role of the pancreas to maintain your blood glucose level, the role of the thyroid to control your body metabolism. There are more examples how the thyroid controls. Thyroid and parathyroid controls the blood calcium level. That's why they work opposite to control your blood calcium. Pancreas, it releases insulin and glucagon, which work together to maintain homeostasis. And ADH is released by adrenaline under the control of the hypothalamus to maintain your water balance. So remember this one also, how it maintain your water balance. Steps of the negative feedback mechanism. You should feel a stimulus in the first step. There should be some stimulus. It should be detected by some receptors in your body. The message goes to your control center. Your control center translate this message and send it back to effectors. The effectors show response, and either you move away from from the stimulus, or you go towards that. But the ultimate aim is to bring the body conditions to the balance. That is what we have to study. And such process, when either the body conditions increase or the body conditions decrease, and in any case when we bring them back to normal, so for example if you go all the way like this, you still bring them back to normal. Such processes are called negative feedback mechanisms. Okay, so these processes are called as negative feedback mechanisms. What we say as the conditions which bring the processes back to normal. Okay, yes, it is to balance. Okay, very good. So basically whenever there is any problem in the body try to fix it. When we try to fix it, we say that our body will show a response. How our body shows a response is because of um, the thermostat. Let's say if it is a temperature, so it will be a thermostat. If it is water balance, it will be ADH. So whenever there is any change in your body, in any process, this change is detected by the receptors. They send the message to the control center, which is your brain, and this control center send it back to your effectors. These effectors are either glands or muscles. If these are glands, they will show response by producing hormones. If it was a muscle, they will contract and they will bring the variable back to homeostatic level. Okay, real life example, boys. Let's just discuss one or two real life examples. If you touch a hot object, what will happen?
Mister, your hand will get burns.
Okay, and then you keep your hand next to the hot object.
No, of course, no.
How much time, how long it take you to pull your hand back?
A second.
Milliseconds or seconds, right? So, so,
Yes.
so this is what mean to maintain homeostasis. Like you touch it, you pull it back. So this is by the muscles. There are many other examples by the glands. Like you eat a lot of sugar. When you eat a lot of sugar, your body makes that sugar level down. Okay, and your body can make this sugar level down by releasing insulin, and that is a hormone. So the brain sends the message to pancreas. The pancreas releases a hormone which is called as insulin. and this insulin shows a response to bring the conditions back to normal by releasing the hormone which is called as the um, insulin. These are some terminologies again. Homeostasis means balancing of the constant stable internal environment. Glands are the one which release hormone, and they can increase or decrease the secretion. Adrenal glands, pancreas, and thyroid, all these work together in pairs to control the body and maintain the body the levels of different things in your body. Adrenal gland releases epinephrine and norepinephrine to increase your heart rate, to increase your breathing rate and your pulse rate when you are frightened or when you are stressed. Our nervous system is linked with the endocrine system. Both of these work together to maintain homeostasis. We have to explain the negative feedback mechanism, especially taking the example of thermoregulation. We have to check why hormones feedback systems are referred to as negative feedback. We discussed it already, why we call them as negative feedback, because they bring the body conditions back to normal. Whenever some hormones are released, they bring the body conditions back to normal. Pituitary gland and the hypothalamus glands are the two parts of the brain which control the actions of the endocrine system. It means that these are the parts of the nervous system that work together with your hormonal system. Okay, now we will see that nervous system, it passes nerve impulses which are very fast and to show the response, while endocrine system use chemicals to which are called as the hormones to show the body response. This picture is not necessarily needed, but it just shows you that all of your body systems are related. For example, here it is the endocrine system and here it is the nervous system. So mainly the systems are interrelated with each other. Let's see how the temperature is balanced. So we have to see maintaining temperature, and maintaining temperature is called as thermoregulation. Okay, thermoregulation. Fine. Now, before going into these details, boys, let me just discuss with you this one. Research and briefly explain with examples the positive feedback mechanism. The positive feedback mechanism. It is opposite to negative feedback. Negative feedback brings the things back to homeostasis, back to normal, but the positive feedback, it increases the signal and make it more faster, make it more worst. Okay, and in this way the response is amplified. Like whatever you are doing, you will do it more, you know, so until the process is done. I hope you understand. So it's just like a process in which the body amplifies the stimulus, and thus the response is amplified, the response is increased. So whatever you are doing in the process, that will be that will be like increased until the process finishes. Okay, so this is how we work. Now we have to see over here some examples, and the examples are a positive feedback. A positive feedback is come when during the childbirth. So for example, in the childbirth, the baby has to come out of the body of the mother, and it leads to pains in the mother's body. The mother's body release a hormone called as oxytocin, and this oxytocin increases those pain. If there is no pain, the baby will not come out. So thus it makes a positive feedback loop. Yani more pain, the baby will come out. No pain, the baby will not come out. Examples, you can go through this diagram. So for example, let's say here the first step is over here. Oxytocin stimulates the uterine contractions and push the baby towards the cervix, like from where the baby has to come out. So the head of the baby just come near to the cervix. Nerve impulse gets this message sent to brain. Brain releases more oxytocin, and more oxytocin causes the birth of the baby. Examples of the positive feedback mechanism, very important, boys. You have to learn childbirth, which is caused because of the labor pain. This is one of the examples. Blood clotting, whenever you have an injury, at that point of your injury, you see that the blood clotting cells are released, and these blood clotting cells are released more and more until your blood stop coming out. So basically these are released in response to positive feedback. Lactation, breastfeeding in the female. This breastfeeding in the female is also very common process. Like this breastfeeding increases as the baby suckling increases on the breast. Like the mother can feed the baby, the milk will come more as the baby suckles more. So this is called as the positive feedback mechanism also. These are some of the examples that you have, which you have to understand. Okay. Now, let me ask you, what is the main difference between the positive feedback and the negative feedback? Let us try it in another way. Let me write somewhere here. Here, see, you have to say that negative feedback, okay, negative feedback maintains homeostasis. Okay, this is one of the difference. It brings the conditions back to normal. Okay, but what about the positive feedback? Now we will say that positive feedback takes the conditions away from normal. It doesn't bring it back to normal. It takes the conditions away from normal. Okay, so it doesn't maintain the homeostasis. So you can also say over here, it reduces the effect of stimulus. Then it makes some changes which reduces the effect of stimulus. Who? The negative feedback mechanism. While the positive feedback, you will say that it increases the effect of stimulus. So they both work opposite. Okay, you got it? So positive feedback is the one which increases the
Yes.
stimulus, while negative feedback brings the conditions back to normal. Okay, look over here. For example, whenever you see most of the diagrams which are in the form of a circle, so like let's say maybe the circle is like this, okay, like this. So these are the two circles, so you can easily identify them, that these circles are part of which system, negative or positive? Which feedback mechanism is this, negative feedback or positive feedback?
Mr. The one above is negative. Negative.
It is, yes, it is all negative feedback mechanism, because the conditions are coming back to the normal, and this normal is called as your set point. There is certain specific set point in your body. Okay, so let's have a deep look into it. So for example, whenever the body temperature decreases, like nowadays it is cold and our body temperature decreases. So what happens? there is a control sensor in the brain which is called as the hypothalamus. This is also known as the thermostat of your body. This thermostat or this hypothalamus sends the message to your body muscles that shiver. Yani, uh, you can rub your hands, it will shiver, or you can curl your body. Yani, you fold your body more, brings your legs closer to the belly. Okay, or um, it sends the message to the blood vessels and tell the blood vessels to constrict. Constrict means less blood goes towards the blood vessel to the skin and less sweat is produced, or no sweat is produced. It means that, I will say over here, no sweat, which means that heat heat is stored in the body. You got it? Because we produce the sweat to release the
Yes.
heat. And once there is no sweat, it means that the heat is stored in the body and your body temperature goes back to normal. It increases again and then goes back to normal. But if your body temperature decreases, now if your body temperature increases, like in summer, the message will again go to the same place, the hypothalamus. The opposite will happen. More sweat will be produced and your skin will dilate and the body temperature will come to the normal after decreasing. Such mechanisms are called as negative feedback mechanism. This diagram in front
Positive.
controls the water. Like whenever the water changes, it comes back to normal. What type it is?
It goes back to normal. Negative, Mister, because negative comes back normally.
Yes, it is a negative feedback mechanism. And this negative feedback mechanism involves hypothalamus. You can say that it involves the brain as well, and it involves the kidney. Okay, and it involves the adrenal glands which are over here on the kidney, which release ADH. So it means that it involves, look how many systems are involved in this. You have hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is a part of which system? Nervous system, right? Then you have the kidney. Kidney is a part of which system? Excretory system. Excretory system. Then you have ADH, which is the hormone, and this is a part of the endocrine system. So how many systems are working to control the water level in your body?
3, Mister.
Three systems. Very good. It involves the nervous system, excretory system, as well as the endocrine system. Okay, let's check this one on the previous example here. For the control of temperature here, which systems are involved over here? Okay, we have hypothalamus, so nervous system is involved. We don't have kidney, no excretory system involved. We don't have ADH, no endocrine system is involved. What other systems are involved over here?
Um, uh, Mister Shivering.
Shivering, it is related to the blood vessels, so we will say that, sorry, shivering is related to muscles. Yes, wait, sorry, I have to say first of all muscles. So when we talk about muscles, it is basically about your skeletal system, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes, Mister.
Skeletal system. When we say blood vessels, which system is blood vessels?
Thermostat.
La, circulatory system. And also here, if you notice, you involve your skin, which produce sweat, right? And skin can be acting as like here, because the skin is releasing sweat. So we can say that at this moment skin is acting as an excretory system because it is removing some wastes from your body, which is a sweat. So you can say that these are the systems which are involved in the temperature regulation. But boys, always remember, we mainly focus on the nervous system, and we mainly focus on the circulatory system in the temperature regulation, and also the hormonal system definitely will be involved here. So we want to talk about the ADH. So whenever the body temperature goes down, this is a brain, and in the brain we need to know that there is a hypothalamus which is working, and this hypothalamus now causes the release of more ADH to absorb more water. So when the water in the blood decreases, more ADH is released and more reabsorption of water takes place. On the other hand, when the water in the blood increases, ADH decreases and reabsorption of water also decreases. So you release more and more water out of your body. One more example, regulation of the blood glucose. We also have such systems over here. We will see that which systems are involved in blood glucose control. So let me put it over here. In the blood glucose, you see that there is a homeostasis. Okay, start from here. This is the stimulus. So after there is a change in the homeostasis in the set point, the stimulus is detected, and the stimulus says that the blood glucose level rises. When the blood glucose level rise, the message goes to the pancreas. Pancreas release insulin. Insulin is a hormone, and this hormone converts the blood into converts the blood glucose into glycogen, which is stored in the liver, and thus the blood glucose level decreases. On the other hand, if the stimulus is that the blood glucose level fall, your pancreas will release opposite hormone, which is glucagon. It will act on the liver to break down the glycogen and bring the blood glucose back to normal. What systems are involved over here mainly, which you can see easily? What systems are involved?
Pancreas.
Pancreas releases insulin and glucagon. So these insulin and glucagon are part of which system? Endocrine system.
Yes.
Okay, what else is involved? Pancreas and liver. So mainly the pancreas and livers are not a direct part of any body system, but we still can say that they are parts of the digestive system. And we have here
Blood, Mr. Blood
yeah,
cells.
blood. There is detection in the blood, so that will be because of the um, what we say as circulatory system. But definitely the all the control is because of the control center, and this control center is the nervous system. Okay, that's it, we did it. Okay, the last thing, I think so we are done with all. Let me just check. Yes, we are done with all. The last thing which you need to know is that we have to research and summarize the most common diseases of the endocrine system. This is already done, boys. You just need to know some of the diseases, like diabetes is one of the disease if endocrine system is not working well. Acromegaly, it's one of the disease where inappropriate growth or overproduction of the growth hormone happen, and Addison disease, where there is a too little cortisol and often too little aldosterone. So it's fine, no need to worry about these mainly. Just any research, it's a research, so you maybe the answers differ, not specifically one answer. Okay, I hope you are clear about it